Hi, welcome. Just burning a little bit of cedar to get us nice and settled for today's solar eclipse reading, which I'm really looking forward to. I just kind of feel like that's actually going into your space, that the smoke is gently cleansing. And if you actually have smudge yourself, I encourage you to just bring some out when you have a chance and just smudge yourself, your space, and get nice and settled. I'm glad that you're back here joining me this week. Ah, what a cool day. What a Tuesday. Solar eclipse Tuesday. Wow. This solar eclipse is happening in the sign of Scorpio. And that is happening at 2 degrees of Scorpio. And it is conjunct Venus, which is, it's some big and very beautiful energy. And I'm not sure how you all have been feeling it, but it takes its shape in so many different ways. And a good way to see how this is actually affecting you in some way is to take a look at what house it's happening in on your birth chart. For me, it's happening in my 12th house. And that is, I mean, time will tell what this is illuminating because the 12th house is all about things that we can't see, things that are hidden from even our own selves. So it's a subconscious house. So the 12th house. So time will tell what this new moon solar eclipse will mean for me. Now, all that I know, at least at the moment, is that grandmother spider has been coming in very, very strongly. Uh, woo! We have things popping out. Look, the mask actually popped out just as a little teaser. The mask. Hmm. Hmm. And grandmother spider is actually, she has her way of telling us things, and for me, she's actually just telling me to slow down, slow down. Maybe for all of us to just slow down and take some deep breaths and settle in because solar eclipses also, it's high energy, even though it's new moon, which is, us moving inward into our own personal void space where the new will emerge and be created within ourselves. It's also paired with the sun, which is illuminating and speeding things up and activating. And the sun is all about action and life. And so those two things put together, sometimes that can kind of wobble our edges. And uh yeah, so just taking a time to yourself to slow down, let your mind actually just like settle, like yeah, it feels good. So yeah, so let's actually just go ahead and let's just start with the reading. I don't know if you can tell, but I am like feeling like a little discombobulated. It's a lot. So yeah, we'll call on Grandmother Spider to help us weave all of our threads together in a harmonious way because we're each threads on her cosmic tapestry. and invite in our ancestors. The veil is getting thinner and thinner at this time of the year, especially as we get closer to like Samhain, Halloween, All Souls Day, Dia de los Muertos. Uh, of course, someone would be chopping something. Oh my gosh, I just don't even know where to begin with the sound around here. It's just craziness, man. I sit down to do a reading and boom, somebody's got like a forklift in the backyard or something. I don't know. It's crazy. So anyway, again, we'll just like tune into the humor of the juxtaposition of quiet and chaos that's always around us. Oh man. Okay. So I'm actually really curious if we call on Grandmother Spider and we ask what archetype is it that we're working with on this solstice? What archetype is it that we're working with? And that's a lot of cards. So, well, there it is. What archetype? Ooh, wow. Okay, wow. The cave. The cave. That's interesting. And look at how right here. So we've got this dark space. Oh, I see two eyes deep in this, recess. And then on top, like right here where maybe the third eye would be, if you can see these eyes, is this sun, like this illuminated sun. It almost actually feels very much like the energy of like new moon energy, that darkness of going into our inner cave. That's phenomenal. Wow. But then also having that spark of illumination that actually comes out when we do get quiet enough to listen to our own inner workings and really tune into what our body's wisdom is trying to say. Like I see these hands, and these hands, it's an interesting position, like one hand here and another hand here. I'm not totally sure what this hand position might be conjuring up. I do think that's interesting. I'm going to read from what she has to say about the cave. Okay, here we go. So the dark, the portal, the interior. Those who are fortunate enough to find and enter the cave are forever changed. It is a place of potent power, acting both as a portal to another realm and a space for sacred ritual and initiation. The cave is a place to return for meaningful retreat where one can see the true self in the darkness. In esoteric teachings, the cave is known to reside in the center of the heart. Within its walls, the whispers of compassion and self-understanding can be heard. Yet, because of its mystery and power, many of us fear the cave and never try to find it. We busy ourselves in the bright lights of the city while the cavernous and dimly lit chamber calls out to us in the night. Where is your cave? You already know. Return to it and tend the fire. That is a powerful card, the cave, especially receiving that card on a new moon and a solar eclipse at that. So really taking some time, and it doesn't matter if you're not listening to this at the time of the solar eclipse. In fact, it already happened. It happened at 1 o'clock in the morning. So we were already, maybe most of us were already sleeping. So that means this solar eclipse happened while we were in our dream time. And that is the time when we actually are in our internal caves. So, did anybody have any interesting dreams last night? Did you wake up with any dreams, or even not necessarily a dream, because sometimes we don't remember our dreams, but those liminal messages that you get right when you're waking up, you're in that space between sleep and awake. Did you get any whisperings, any knowings, any messages that came in through that liminal space? Because those are messages coming up. Those are the illuminations. Oh, I love how this darkness and this light is so very much like the grandmother spider painting behind me. So we're going to let this card rest right here for a moment. And actually, I'm going to put it here on the candle. Yeah, I like that. So let's go a little bit more. Let's find out a little bit more. What else would she like us to know? So the cave, going inward into our most sacred inner space. What else would you like us to know, Grandmother Spider? What else? Oh, there it is. I was still shuffling and this one was sticking straight out. Okay. Fork in the road. Fork in the road. Now this is interesting. This is actually a card that happens a lot. This is a card that I feel is a repeated kind of pattern for the communities, the people that I read for. This pops up many, many times. And so one of the things that I'm thinking about right here is being in a time of transition where we are coming up to a place where we're trying to make these decisions and see how this little monkey is at the top. One of these days, I will get better camera equipment so you can see. But this little monkey is up at the top, and it reminds me of like the monkey mind of like trying to make a choice. Do I go this way? Do I go that way? Do I go this way? Do I go that way? You know, and being like there in this chaotic space of what do I do and how do I get there? And then I'm noticing this almost looks like a llama with a horn with I mean, is it a llama, guys? And then we've also got a little owl. Like I said, it's like focusing back here instead of on the card. But anyway, I think you get the idea. So making a decision doesn't always bear fruit when you only come at it from the mind. Coming at it from the mind will pretty much always show you what it is that you don't want. I mean, and not entirely true, but you know, it's I feel like minds are more they're more geared towards like survival and keeping us from getting into danger. And one of the things that I'm hearing here is to actually like get into the middle, that neutral space in the in-between space of all the decisions and actually start to like listen more. It's interesting to see all these arrows that one of them so we're going to get really detailed into this card. Does that help? I'm glad I have this handy. So take a look. Look at where the arrows are pointing. It's pointing at the llama's nose, and it's pointing at the llama's like throat, heart area. So you know what I'm getting with that? Bear with my dorky, my like weird reading, is that the breath is connected to like first the heart, and then it's like that sense of expression coming out through the throat. And so, like, actually taking a look at this funny combination of breathing in deep, getting centered into your heart, and then being able to know where to go, because then it's like, then these little arrows take off in different directions. But these arrows right here are deliberately pointing back at these like very important places within us. So it's like how to actually steer the monkey mind so that it's a helpful tool where it is, the passenger in the car holding the map and helping us rather than dictating everything and holding us back through fear. So that was a funny way to get to that point, huh? So, oh, it's interesting. It is so, these details are so fine and tiny. Is that the monkey? Can you even see that? It looks like he's wearing a mask. And that was actually the card that like fell out of the deck, and it kind of felt like the deck warming up and yeah, reminding us to actually slow down and take off masks and helping me actually get more comfortable in front of the camera again. And um, you know, I get shy in front of the camera a little bit. So it's like when I first get up here, I feel like I've got some shedding to do. So I felt like that was a reminder to me, but it looks like maybe that's a reminder to all of us because this monkey is also wearing a mask. And so we can think about like reflecting now on these different readings that have happened because was it last week or the week before that the mask came up about, yeah, 2 weeks ago, about being playful in our expressions and learning how to try on these different parts of ourselves. And so making decisions, it's like this way, that way. It's like the different pieces that are getting pulled in different areas are different parts of ourself wearing those different masks. So it's like, the part of us that wants to be more adventurous, wants this certain thing, wants a vacation. The part of us that wants to be more financially stable is saying, ditch the vacation and save all that money instead for these important things. And like finding the balance between these decisions that we constantly have to make and actually finding the ground and getting rooted. Like we need to get really, really rooted and solid in our intentions before we can jump and actually go. So pulling that back now towards what this might be talking about for us today is it's the new moon, right? Like planting seeds of intention for what it is that you actually want more of in your life. What is it that you actually want more of in your life? I actually feel like pulling from the Starseed Oracle because I just love this deck. It's one of my favorite decks. So, hmm, hmm, okay. Wow. Okay. Double mission, and your life is a canvas. Double mission, and your life is a canvas. Double mission often, it's interesting. This is coming alongside with making choices, deciding which way to go in this fork in the road. And knowing that many of us here watching this reading, you know, light light workers, way showers, in some way, you are a pioneer in the forefront of evolution of thought, in demonstrating that we don't need to live in so much fear, like, and so much chaos, and constantly be fighting and battling towards something greater, that sometimes actually it is the soft, like the soft way of doing things that actually bears the most fruit. And so I'm seeing with this double mission is like the decisions that we're being called to make, really finding out your why, finding out why. Why do you need certain things? Why do you want certain things? And is it actually part of what you came here to do? What did you come here to do? What is one of your soul missions? And this is implying that we have several, that part of our missions, you know, walk the middle path. Maybe many of us have families and we're raising kids or helping our families in some ways, but also learning how to be a healer or a teacher of some kind, or strengthen your intuitive abilities, and listening to that heart space of what it is that you came here to do in a grander sense of humanity, but then also how to actually walk this earth plane in a way that is still serving others and serving yourself. I just see her dreaming in the dark too. I think that's an important piece of this card, is that she looks like she is in the cave, in the darkness of the cave. But that the golden eyes, it's like her eyes are closed, but they're illuminated by this gold. And then her lips, again, with this card that it's pointing at the nose of, first of all, breathing in like spirit and direction and, wisdom. And then like actually speaking it and using, like, her lips are painted that beautiful gold color too. And so speaking it, expressing it in some way, bringing it out from your internal space and gifting it towards others. I see that as being a sacred gift that each of us have to offer, that we're all so talented in so many different ways. Some of us sing, some of us write, some of us create with our hands. So, how do those gifts and talents actually illuminate your whole life? Like, this one is so beautiful. Your life is a canvas. And so how is it that you can look around at what it is that you have created in your life right now, and look towards the things of beauty that you have made? Look towards the relationships that you have in your life that bring you joy. I love this card. It says artist, manifestation, creative accountability. And so again, it's like, going way deep inward to hear that soft inner knowing, so that you can actually make a decision and set an intention with this really powerful energy today. And this energy is going to be playing a part of our lives for a good 6 months. I feel like we're always kind of in this rotating momentum of, different uh astrological events. Because right now we're actually finishing up the different cycles from the last like lunar and solar eclipses. So, it comes in waves, and we're always working with something, and we're always um unveiling more and more and more of who we are and what we came here to do. I think all of these things bring us greater illumination and clarity. So, yeah. Hmm. So it seems like a big part of this today is going deep inward, listening quietly to what our body needs to say. Like I think again about the hands, like what our body actually is telling us. And with hands, that is how we create a lot of the time. Is that, if we're writing, we're typing, or, you know, drawing, or however which way you use your hands to create. But hands are a sense, a way of expression. And so I thought it's interesting that the cave has these hands in there. Yeah. So, okay. I really love having a crystal to work with and an animal. I feel like we got a few animals, monkey, the llama, the little owl on the back there. But let's actually be more intentional. I feel like this energy is calling us to be really intentional with what it is that we are asking for. And um and I'm also hearing what it is that this is also the end of different cycles. New moon means we just finished something. So, because it ends in the dark moon where it closes the chapter and then she births anew. So, you know, it also means that what is it that we need to weed in our garden? So, I'm asking for a crystal. Oh, look, we got two. We almost got three because, yeah, so many were popping out. Look at this. Black tourmaline and morganite. Hmm. Black tourmaline and morganite. Now, black tourmaline, I like this picture a lot. This is very interesting. Already, one of the things that I see is this dandelion. It's like setting your intention free and letting it go, making that wish, really letting it go. But then these magnets, the magnets are so important here because whatever it is that you release, and I've heard this in different ways, in different wisdom teachings, that whatever it is that you release, it comes back. And sometimes it comes back with the power of three. I've heard that too, where release with intention, because it will ultimately come back. And the way that it comes back, like I'm looking again at the pole with arrows, we don't always know how it comes back. It's not always a linear progression. Uh, So, but morganite, this is the other piece of this, is morganite is tied to the heart, the high heart. Morganite is this very beautiful pink stone. It looks a little bit like rose quartz, it looks a little bit like what's the pink kunzite, if you've seen that. So morganite is just, oh my gosh, it's such a yummy stone. And I wish I had it in my collection. This is not one that I have, but it is such a loving, rich, just gem of a stone. And it absolutely illuminates what it is that your heart, it just softens the heart and gives the heart space to actually be what it is and to be this divine little piece of your puzzle. Like, look at this mandala coming out. It's just so beautiful. So, of course, I'll read these both. But to kind of put that together is that if we're sending out our intentions with this new moon, do it with love, do it from the heart space, because then whatever comes back is going to be love, filled with love. It will be blessings. Send your whatever you release out with blessings, and it comes back with so much more abundant blessings. It's actually astounding how much the universe is trying to give us at all times, if only we just open to receive and allow it. Oh, I forgot to get my books down. Oh. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's read first tourmaline. It's gonna be way at the back, huh? Okay. Tourmaline. Some say if you can't see it, it doesn't exist. But you can hear the radio, can't you? Radio frequencies are transmitted in waves, invisible to the eye. A lot of information comes to us by routes that are unseen. Worlds of knowledge come across your screen, transmitted on invisible silent waves. It's magical, and in its own way, noisy, if you're sensitive to that sort of thing. Black tourmaline's first gift is transmutation, the ability to take all that energetic excess and turn it into something else. But what, you may wonder? And that's for you to decide. Black tourmaline is both a teacher and a tool. How will you use it? How will you change one form of energy into another? And that really makes me think of this scorpionic energy, the energy of the alchemist. If you think of the Scorpio energy, it's, the little scorpion on the ground, and it transmutes through the phoenix and then up to the eagle. And that is the alchemical process of actually turning everything into medicine, everything into a learning, growing opportunity. So, using tourmaline to actually transmute these different stuck places within us so that we can actually get more clarity and more grounding, because it's also a black stone, so it's very grounding to help us get more clear in and more grounded in these places where we're being pulled off our center or being called to make decisions, and we don't remember, or at that moment we're not getting back into our heart, because again, make the decisions from the heart space. So 115 is morganite, so let's find that one. Here it is. And this picture is bigger right here. Yeah, there you go. So morganite's message says, breathe into your heart. From this space, you can expand into unexplored parts of your being, connecting with worlds both within and around you in new ways. With your heart open, you can dive deep into your relationships, both with the human world and the non-human world, finding facets that didn't exist until Morganite helped you breathe them into life. Stretch into your fullness, Morganite whispers. From this place, the things that are not the things that are not you get slowly crowded out by the truths of your soul. This is not a quick process, Morganite knows. It's the work of years, of lifetimes even, but it's work worth doing for the surety and peace of being wholly yourself. Wow. Wow. Okay. Oh my goodness. I feel like this is such a deep message that I mean, I almost feel like it requires two videos, right? This is a deep, long message of really getting into your heart space. And what I have been receiving lately, messages from my heart, is that the heart is the doorway to source. And that the heart is the very, very first little piece of you when you were conceived. Those first little cells were your heart, and you were first a heartbeat. That is the doorway that you came in from who knows where. Think about that for a second. You came from somewhere, but we don't know where. Where does our soul begin? Where does it end? So hard to know. But that is where you began. And Morganite is asking us to go back into the doorway where there we can actually sit with our source point, our divine spark, the piece of us that makes us our essence, the truest part of ourself. And so making those decisions and really setting them free with that deep clarity of the essence of who you are. So getting still a little bit and actually sitting with your heart and asking your heart, what is it that it wants? I'm sure it will have a lot to tell you. If anybody has looked into the information from the Heart Math Institute, they have really phenomenal information about the electromagnetics of the heart. And there's just, I encourage anyone to take a look at their research and see what they have to say, because yeah, it's pretty cool. The heart is by far the most mystical, amazing piece of us. I mean, actually all of us, right? But the heart has a lot to say. This is interesting. This is the animal that we got. This is the 5-lined skink. I know nothing about the skink. So let's find out what this says. This skink, huh? Interesting. Okay. Here's the picture a little bigger so that you can see. Wow. This is definitely an image. First off, an image of like chaos all around this little skink who's trying to survive while it's like snakes and birds and dogs. Like, what is going on? This poor little skink is just trying to get toasty on the stairs, like, right? Like soaking in the sun, wants to relax. It's having trouble relaxing because the world around it is so freaking chaotic. Okay, let's see what she has to say. 5-lined skink is an adrenaline junkie, the evil Knievel of the lizard world. This speed demon flashes its bright blue tail, baiting hawks and snakes. Catch me if you can. Skink trills, diving into a crevice. Skink knows he's super fast, but that's not why he baits the big boys. His superpower is beyond speed. Skink can lose his tail and still live. So he flicks it around like a bright blue flag and then scurries for the shadows, cackling as he goes. Skink reminds you to delight in being daring, that to really live, you have to be willing to risk your tail. So the message that I'm getting is actually a little contrary to what this just said. Because what I could hear in the underpiece of all of the writing and is that the skink also doesn't want to exert so much energy to regrow this tail. Think about how much that consumes a lot of energy to actually lose this tail and grow it again. And this would be time where it would not be able to hunt or find its own food, and it would be completely focused on its internal healing arts, its alchemical wonders of regrowing this limb. I feel actually like this card is more of like it's almost like an alarm going off is kind of what I'm hearing, is that maybe some of these decisions, first of all, it seems like maybe some of these decisions were running out of time to make them. And and this might be a very specific message for one of you, that like running out of time to make a certain decision, but that, you know, first of all, I'm also hearing don't lose your head over it. Because that's kind of more like the human metaphor of the tail. But first thing is actually it weigh out the risks, and like one of the ways to do that again is to get back into the heart and actually hear what it is that you truly want. And is it actually, when you really get down into the truth of it, the real truth of it, is this something that you want so badly that you would actually risk the time, the effort, the energy to regrow, you know, to actually, you know, if he did lose his tail, to spend that time recovering, or, you know, like the time, energy, the commitment that will be required of you after you make that certain decision. So it's kind of what I'm hearing with this card. But then, you know, the broader message too is to look at it in more of a, it's not all or nothing. It's, we can be a bit more daring and a bit more bold with the choices that we make, and know that we can always, wherever we end up, can make a different choice and navigate. And so we have skink on our side to help us go quickly through these things that are chaotic in our world, and weigh out the risk. So that's an interesting, it's an interesting animal to be paired with all of this. So that, I think, is where we're going to conclude the reading for today. So yeah, what an interesting read. So yeah, I'm so curious to see how people's paths unfold, and how in, let's say, like 6 months from now, how does this new moon energy actually take root, transform? How did you use it, or how did it how what became illuminated in 6 months? There you go. My words are, I'm moving slowly. New moon does that to me, actually. I tend to go in my cave. New moon time. So it was such a blessing to have you all here with me again. And I hope to see you all next time. So with that, I will wish you all a very, very beautiful and beneficial solar eclipse. Happy new moon. And blessings from Grandmother Spider, all of the ancestors, your guides, this beautiful smelly thing. I'll just let you smell it. And I will see you next time. Great. Bye.